Hey, what's up guys? Sean Hudgens, your Hampton Roads real estate expert. I'm here with Dan from Final Analysis Property Inspections, and we're going to go over some of the basics of doing a final walkthrough and why it's so important.
Well, obviously the primary home inspection is most important, but things can happen after the inspection. It might be 30, 40 days before you get to closing, so it's very important to do a thorough final walkthrough inspection to check those things that you asked for repair in the PICRA. Or maybe something has gone wrong and stopped working since your last inspection. So it's very important to do one last quick check, kick the tires if you will, and make sure everything's up to your expectations before you go to closing.
Awesome, cool. So we will switch the camera around and we'll walk you through some of the basics of your final walkthrough inspection. Hey, Future Sean coming at you here real quick. I want to show you some of the products before we get started that you want to bring with you to your final walkthrough that'll really help make the process go a lot smoother. So first thing I want to start with, one of these, a GFI tester or an outlet tester. They make two kinds. They make one with a little button and one without a little button. Make sure you get the one with the little button. It does the exact same thing as the other one, except it also can test GFI circuits. So that's something that you want to have with you. Another one is a flashlight, a good flashlight that can produce a lot of light. If you don't already have one of these in your house, just laying around, I highly recommend getting one of these small stick flashlights. It just takes AA batteries and puts out a ton of light, and you can put it in your pocket real easy. You should probably have one of these on you all the time. I carry one every day. No brainer, pen and paper. This is a pretty special little pen. It's a little overkill if you ask me, but it's pretty cool. It's got a little light on it, and it's also got a little laser pointer on it, just in case. This is great for me as a realtor because I can point out things that I can't really reach. Makes explaining things a little simpler sometimes. But otherwise, just bring a regular pen and paper so you can write down any deficiencies so you don't forget anything. Make sure you bring a tape measure. You may have some furniture that is questionable whether or not it might fit in a spot. You can measure on the spot and you'll have a good idea before you move in whether or not things can go in certain places. This is an infrared thermometer. So you essentially just point it at things and it'll give you a temperature readout. This is really handy when you're doing the AC and heat test. You'll see in the video in a second, but this makes that job a lot easier. And last but not least, some PPE. So if you're gonna be crawling on the crawl space, which if you've had a repair done that was in the crawl space, you or your realtor or somebody should be getting down in that crawl space to check and make sure that everything was done. I know we all send pictures back and forth showing that the work is done. Something I learned in the Navy, trust but verify. Finally, I want to give a huge shout out to Dan from Final Analysis Property Inspections. He actually put together a bag with all of that stuff in it so that we had all the tools that we needed for the final walkthrough. These products are all linked down in the description below. You probably already have them laying around. Let's get back to the video. All right, one of the items that you want to check when you're doing your final walkthrough is all of your appliances. Make sure they're working the same that they were working when you had your inspection. So check your fridge, make sure it's still cool. Same with the freezer. You want to check your dishwasher. You want to check your oven and stove. Make sure you run a cycle through the dishwasher. Turn on your stove. Make sure all of the elements that were heating are still heating. None of them have gone bad in the days between your inspection and the final walkthrough. Turn on your oven. Check your microwave. Make sure it's still cooking. All of those things are really important items to check. Another item you want to check is your water flow and your water temperature. Turn your faucets on. Make sure they run both in the hot and the cold position. Put it in the hot position, let it run for a while, and you can use a thermometer and you can check what the temperature of the water is and make sure that it is adequately hot. You also want to make sure it's not too hot. About 130 degrees is the max temperature you want to have coming out of your hot water heater, or else you can actually scald yourself. Run your water. Make sure none of the water is dripping out of the drains. Make sure everything is the same that it was during that property inspection. Don't forget to check all of your bathrooms, not just the kitchen sink. Check all of the plumbing fixtures to make sure that they are operating as they should be. One of the items you want to check when you're doing your walkthrough is a spot check of all your electrical outlets. Make sure you have an electrical outlet tester with the GFI tester. Go to an electrical outlet, make sure that the lights are correct. Both orange lights typically on are correct. There's usually a scale on here that tells you what's right and what's wrong. And then you want to test the GFI if it's supposed to be a GFI circuit. So we'll press the button, hear the click, and that shows us that the GFI is working properly. All right, another item you want to check is your heating and cooling system. Go to your thermostat, set it up above where it is now if it's in the heating mode, and then you want to wait for the heat to kick on, and you're going to go around and check some of your registers and make sure that there is in fact heat coming out of the register. You want to do that for a couple of registers, at least spot check 2 or 3 rooms throughout the house, both upstairs and downstairs. You want to check the AC system as well. So you're going to set the system to cool, turn the temperature down below the set point, and then go and check your registers, make sure that they are blowing cold air. You want to step outside, make sure you're checking for any storm damage or anything that may have happened to the exterior of the home between your home inspection and your final walkthrough. For example, you can see some shingles here on the ground from a high wind event that happened here in Hampton Roads not too long ago. And then once you've done that, you want to make sure you do a macro and a micro scan of the exterior of the house. So get out far away from the house, look, make sure, is there any damage that you can see from the street? Is there anything that sticks out to you as being a problem? Walk around the whole house that way, and then get up close. Make sure that none of your windows are damaged, there's no evidence of water leakage or any damage to the house that you weren't aware of when you went through the property inspection. And finally, you want to do a walkthrough of the home. Make sure the condition is the same as you left it when you went through the property inspection. If there is any missing items that you expected to be there, or any damage that wasn't there when you first walked through the home, you need to address that with the sellers and ensure that your agent is taking care of any of those issues. The final walkthrough is the last step in the home buying process to help protect you as the buyer. Let me know in the comments below. Have you ever had a problem that came up after closing that could have been avoided with a thorough walkthrough? For more real estate content, subscribe, like this video, and I can't wait to see you the next time.